I come at you. Patch, my dear, don't tell or don't. What was that count sending a message? We see MP before the Yansan and the money on my solution. Nana, board for Boca, $214 million. Then on my press conference, Goldbod so website, or might be a go, can be any, or Mokrad, or Mankas on profit, almost say, surplus. Because it be a good board, I couldn't profit because on share, or my profit and loss. It's a baby bro so a surplus no more a lot of surplus be kwa na January February external auditors be audit omo adwuma na omaye no it's a most of my boka mo de mo ntwen se mo nko mo website o kra nko hwe ne omaye na mo de mo ntwen na external auditors mra IMF nka so mo de kaw o makan brofna se anu munim se majority of MP before illiteracy into omba be bo ahyo mtu no mo de nam ana na omo kan it's a woni makan kan dia wa wasem obi twa house abi bo mo no masem mo watie uti ana so do wadwen aba mo wadwen nya adwuma so akọ school so nku school obeti opon kroma ne okan akwawi be 8-9 years ago oni ba omiamu ba kroma egosi omo moving pick ene waye nipa sato mo si omo behwe asua kwan aga Dubai light tinigina so ata bi si omo moving pick omo wi budget omo de koye no opon kroma nya me obetua oka o my what se mo de Ghana ejimi sa nya me obetua opon kroma ne wo wie ni nyina no wo da wo se ntumi move ne ebe two upon koma na beji wonsem ye be din komo nya botre if the first time I heard from me don't looking of the universe with my follow me Facebook don't look TV don't Facebook was on follow me their own mission yeah a lot we try live ne ma be bring say me Facebook page you know uma ho there hey then you missing a lot I'm telling you oko YouTube at don't tilo manya technician bi one de me ma don't na the way an artwork kwa de agye nsem kona ko de don't tilo na videos am drop beji wonsem wonso bi try live over TikTok I don't know when me di Dubai nko obeso obe Dubai be adwuma obeso obe di holidays obeso obe fa niam oti Dubai ye adwuma but obeso sen adwuma you want growth what am this anko ni na I don't know Instagram the underscore don't know how dey fan na ye more what you say ni chat so maka kire so obeso obe kuruma na be ye adwuma na nya asomdua mo se maka dey we ache man try internet so ache onso bi abe kanta me say me na me de ne ba say ni se bi ni ho so obeso ba na nya asomdua me package ma me fa mra bi say na me package ni tie me ma 2-month tourist visa na mama o ticket oba be du na adwuma set e kira 31st nipa mu tu aba ni packet wa ma pa adwuma to mu nyina to mbe lande ya e form a free airport na do ko adwuma na accommodation straight in case we be do na say me nya adwuma ma me na ma ko rent bed mo for the time be like a day or two me ma won che na fi me trace cam agent for mo adwuma na me yiwa fi be am ha ma do ko adwuma na accommodation na ma we say 2 months visa na me ne magma traveling to dem a oba the number 1 traveling to UAE aba na visa ni take there omo la papa ba ko pe na ma say 2 months visa na me dem a wono emuni de no ma 2 years resident visa amount me ni wo wie then you grow from there atana the company accommodation what's your 2 years visa kasa di wo akiri this be osu ban fon ana akọ ebi bone na ye yi wo de asa wo de mi yo wo pe coaching bia nso na hete me am coaching don me say ene last Tuesday of the year oni me din komo na akira na me de visa to mawa primai first week or second week of January na wo kuruma uri opa hen tunchia emodu peche gasa yen semre ne nguti kurasi ni jo
14 million in losses under the gold for reserve scheme is just 9 months. But there are a few other issues under that we want to draw your attention to as part of our preliminary remarks. First is to explain to you how these losses are being occasioned. Small scale miners will not sell unless they are paid true global market prices, even if a slight discount is given to them, and at an exchange rate which the forex bureaus use. Second, the gold board therefore has to pay miners at real market value. However, gold board then sells the dollars it receives from offshore buyers back to the Bank of Ghana at the BOG or interbank rate, which is a weaker rate. Gold board protects its books by passing the exchange rate losses directly onto the Bank of Ghana. So this is not a market fluctuation problem. This is a system that is designed to make losses and for the state to bleed. So,
as we need required energy. Now, and this for a system, Ghana beboka na ye bleed. Wa don kwasi ya politics. Na system no maye na Ghana beboka no. Ana dala na muja no ho anwan no de aba fom. System na waye na wo pon kuma ugina hoyi. See oka fu na ufu on last year na esen system no mo design say ye bobo kama ye bleed no ana atiti fu also na last year na tossment 120 and then I'm 75 Ghana cedis. And then I'm 75 Ghana cedis. I don't know now turn saying don't we encourage politics o system no mo design say be ma Ghana bleed ma Ghana nwa kire na Ghana enya mfaso. That's what he's saying. Umkwa sie school no makono MPP dudu na abofo kan won tiase no agiatum o se mo design system ne say ebe maka ana ye bleed yate ana sa abin kan nka dala nka nam 20 cedis kanam 30 cedis ni ya je wasem yatum foreign reserves amuja no say o de kosen bujan a something o de ko 13 sa 13 na IMF kwase ombe gade Ghana by 2028 ni atuma achieve sa foreign reserve no ya achieving within less than a year. Ya achieving within less than a year. What are you saying? Say this to the villagers. Ukrom nkurase for no ponkroma. Kasanko siase mu echira omo. Ko.
Intermediaries will remain secure and profitable. For those of you who recall when the Goldbod Act was being passed, we extensively outlined why the regulator should be decoupled from a commercial entity that could do this and make profit. And you recall that we suggested that it would be better to have a limited liability company with capital so that this doesn't happen. This is exactly what has happened.
Thank you. Goldbod ne ba ombe chira o madwin. Chira ne so mo ye na 8 years dey na ye. Ye jimi kasa. Wona ba chira obi ne wonye. Wunya power 8 years dey na wo ye. Wo si good for oil. Emrebu ko gina ba bi so ma pompe $8 million a share economy ni. Afi wa sa ko trade bisa mo kura mo pompe bi na anye yi. Opon kuma ye njimi yo. Ye ni nyansa wate. Enye obi a na pese o politics o. Obi o politics kwa any time. So ba be gina obi twitwa nkontombo se onye because ene kra be kan kra. Ebe kan kra. Ene kofo se kofo twitwa Ghana ntro bi ene na ne kotu wote wono. Se kofo wi asika bi ene na wote wono. Ya mu nsuye nyansa kakana mu nya jim politics no. Se mo kire o mo se wi happen na mo de no na mo nyansa de na wanye unim na mho anka wo sra pro opon kroma se unim na mho ka wo sra pro jimi yanko ta mama mo pa mo ko
now. And so far $214 million of loss, going towards $300 million by the end of the year. The third issue that we want to draw attention to. This is not how the original structure of the Gold for Reserves program was designed. Now let's remind the nation about what the original structure was. It was a sovereign reserve building tool to help Ghana accumulate physical gold, strengthen our balance sheet, reduce reliance on foreign currency borrowing, and gradually stabilize the cedi. Under the original design, which was introduced by the NPP, Ghana's reserves increased from 8.7 tons to 31 tons in just 2 years. And no losses accrued because BOG bought physical gold directly for its reserves and not through intermediaries like some of who we have outlined, and not for speculative purposes. Now the model has been changed, contrary to the advice and all the advocacy that we did. And the Bank of Ghana, under the new structure, under the reset, they have ceded their mandate.
Obaso chese na omo pese board ne ye no enye sa na ye na omo tam de board no eyi na ye good for oil na ye into what na sinadwen no omo de na dollar da sen ene dollar iba sa 10-11 no uni mo ko fa ne ma benefit $1 14 and 15 over $100,000 cedi say na be say $1 10 and 11 over $100,000 cedi say na be say don't, this is common sense. Into ono wabi jina ho na okeka kwa asem sie no a so omo de na ye no omo de na amfa kama no the system net is saying kumasi akra o kwa na kai sky saying oboase kumasi na saying takura de na saying iron rod na auto no saying cement na auto no saying don eti senk walking ana bia omo beje MP NDC for beje cement ana cement edam 120 no ana cement aku 200 you can hold water let's say futu otu omo no ama Oman fenti ana abua form so. Here is the case where futu ni ejimi futu. Enu ti se wo de no. Omdu omo futu ni ejuma within 1 year no. Eniema na uton abodi na omatete so. So what you say don't. Di Ghana ni emu nyansa da. Onko mana mini udi no. ka wo de na wo se ye no ka wo ba ye on be fa on be to $1 15 and so 14.5 na ko mo de ko 20 Ghana focus ade ye kan yampa wo ne mo ya ne se mo be Ghana government na unpopular ne abeto aba mamu ye jimi ade se jimi na beto aba mamu ne na adwe ewu ne party ewuro ne tirim nyansani bie na obeto aba mamu even wudi mo am party no because obi MPP no ko fa ne ma na first ope $1 this or the 15 cedis na ko e no ko fa $1 or the 10 cedis na 11 cedis wo betu su de yin this a wonye business this say ya ba ye funu mu di mo china will follow you people no mo adwen no hwe ponkoma wa jimi kura ma yen asia jimi wanim sai ka bitie o
Goldbod, and Goldbod has also ceded to a private company, Power Rock Limited, which now operates primarily as a trading company, not a reserve builder. And the moment we shift from holding strategic gold to trading gold, pricing and FS risks will appear. And the taxpayer in the end is the one who has to pay the $300 million at the end of the year. Now, despite unprecedented volumes of gold passing through Goldbod, our reserves have increased only from 31 tons to 38 tons, which undermines the past 22%, just 7 tons after all this theater.
Unse wa Jimmy. Oba na Ghana gold reserve yesi. Oja to 31 tons. Omotumbi akọ 38 tons less than a year. Upon say we say enye no, omkofa gold no omsan akoton bi no. Omotumi kura san pija ya tons no. Amana muja 31 omoti 7 abeka ho. It's all them fan say afibia ko omoti 7 beka ho 7 beka ho 4 years yesi. You cry afi no matiku na ombehu flocks ice we bi adwuma foforo. I need Goldbod ye bi Ghana da ana war pon command kwa akoten ba bi ka say the difference between mo de ne no mo de ne say NDC for de ne de omo an ton gold omo mo bi fa gold nko wa kan sa no kren kwasea idi atam am si idi atam nyama ne meke kan kwasem to go fotim eti ono ne de ne kra nye no less than a year watum de 7 tons of gold aka Ghana 31 amu ja ho am si e ko 38 ba eti next year no things will be better than this year. Because you want to so it's 7 tons crab it may increase ya 10 tons. And 47 tons near 47 tons, which a broom was 8 years in as long. This is common sense. Or no crab so just a new because I no couldn't to me fancy it almost less than a year and 7 tons account 31 amujano 8 years in a million tons same. 8 years in a tons send a munya nobody just like 1 year or less than 1 year and 7 tons. Oh, cut ill about it. Don't. What Jimmy Wataba me go
under the MPP without this theater we increased by 256%. This is not prioritization of reserves, it's prioritization of rent seeking. This is where media attention should be focused, and that's why we're saying that these are preliminary remarks that we are beginning to draw your attention to, and we'll share more with you as we go along. Now, for those who just hear $214 million or $300 million and consider it just as a figure, let us refuse the temptation to treat this matter as an abstract number. $214 million, that is from the beginning of the year to September, not the full one. It could have built 12 fully equipped Agenda 111 district hospitals.
Neba. Hasi kura wakasa mye musu wa Jimmy. Oso omako ye adwuma aboka within less than a year. Asa $214 million no. Agenda 111 amodis 8 years jinyansi mo nsia ngi kibetuma complete no. That's NDC for ya dio. Yanyi ntumkura so maboka. Until less than 1 year adwuma nka 8 years mo ntuma anye no. Kumbetum di musika ya bro mo ko bobosia. Me say your positive energy and your negative energy. So offer negative energy now you may be thinking say you are making sense. How we Jimmy kra we say we did not tanta wo Jimmy your ka bia nyansa nim. Say wo project wo di 8 years want to manwi. Na afi wo gina wo say o ma boy kan say sika na mo boy kan no. Abro mo ko bo Ghana bosia ho. Won te say Sammy Gyamfi'S ko disika bi Free Bank of Ghana ho. Won te say Sammy Gyamfi'S ko disika bi World Bank. Won te say IMF for Sammy Gyamfi'S ka. Beboa good. We say den because odo mo nsu na dware wo. Very good. Na say wo se o makoboka to 214 million and bit me ay agenda one na so omu nim ska pepa awo na so omu nim adwuma ye because project I want to manage can complete no or I would take bosia 3 billion free I am for yet how to spend it no ono onye bosia be na wo so aboka ada wakoju biska ponkro mama me o ma me wate
which the MPP started and which this administration has refused to continue so far. It could have built 30 modest hospitals or 40 to 60,000 boreholes in many villages across this country, providing clean, safe water to villages, clinics, and communities. $214 million could have employed many teachers and nurses
and more employment
the eye of the government to pay or to issue the necessary financial clearance. So when the government tells you that they have lost $214 million, it's jobs, it's roads, government can't but that is not the full story. Again, if you remember when the Goldbod Act was being passed, we spoke extensively about the need for traceability so that Ghana's money will not be used to fund the purchase of Galamsey gold. Now, while the financial tragedy unfolds, another crisis is deepening. Illegal mining is continuing at unprecedented levels. You are observing on your television sets the destruction
of kind of politics. Boom say you can't MPP near this one fight the Galamsey. Once we no more expose one more can correct. NDC time now we say Kurubi Kurane or more fight the Galamsey and go for complaining. NDC time Mahama pass the law say reserve forest BNY you be to Galamsey womb or the Samranaba. I'm a parliamentary tum. What time we be? Who say me life mo so wo twa me ntro a me fa ne se wo bum se magimi me life mo no this obi a wo twa me ntro dem wo bum se magimi wo nim se me nim nyansa opon kroma nkwase esku kakra bi na wakono ono hunu so nim nyansa se nipa wo hwe nkwase se ma obegina oka se hunu wo TV so kan kore kanyame so no kore MPP ni NDC mo amwo ba bi etu Galamsey ama nipa kure ewu why na fight Galamsey tell me here it is how we see where you want to yes I twa ntro say wose wate ponkroma wose ni na antetew na woma why kromfo na obu Ghana fo na ebeba wo so ko
still of our forests and water bodies. Yet we are told that the purchase that is going on is not a purchase of Galamsey gold. If you check the data, the export numbers by the large-scale exporters hasn't changed much, and today there are no other exporters in town except the Goldbod.
No more.
So who is buying the Galamsey? It's a question out there.
Mami you anu Jimmy mami you ano no almost stopping. Omo to good in free Galamsey for. Ana entro mo betwa say Sammy Gyamfi penny to me ton good obi to me ton good into so to Galamsey no kura obetuma ko ba bia e register ya ko ton good. Yes, but on to me fam pin free Ghana. Sammy Gyamfi so be ko sa papa no akoto. Yes, stop it to get your time on to me because ya no bebre ajai. Me kura me nya kura me di nipa be 8 na aba kurum ha no mo ye Galamsey and am the way I see tata o munti no mu se no e so mo be be so mo me nipa 8 and e china se no mo ba nipa be 16 and ka squad e china mo ba no mo ye Galamsey for the ska kra mo apero mo so mo ntron ma na nhye ne nkochi o mo kotum ana mama ma heavy sam do mo ba. So what's your talk? We ye nipa be kan kura mu say o mo fight Galamsey more than you people were doing. So we say o be twan through say it's up to you. Kura sini ba o pon kuruma kai nipa.
Go along, we'll begin to point direct answers to. What is even more worrying is that in the face of this devastation, what we are seeing are statements being issued from the Goldbod and the Bank of Ghana trying to obfuscate. They rely on some words in the original IMF draft to suggest that this is speculative or that this is a significant downside risk. We must be clear. A loss of $214 million has already been made. It will be about $300 million at the end of the year. And the people of Ghana cannot be taken for fools.
You've already
by some long-winded statements
to
parry.
You can't omo fools is you people. The common be far Ghana's Ghanaians as fools. Mona ma fe si Jimmy na mo san pese kwase asem ma nyanye ba omie ne be gina o ka se mo boyeka ba omie nu mu bia mo nu no abeka se mo anya hwe from president to minister to MP to asami bibia mo anya de ti mo pa ya chew this is public sympathy once mu 8 years yamu ntumi nka bibia but NDC just 1 year they have something to say o $100 o ma tete ne yama bibiri so mu 8 years yamu ni bibia aka ye na mo tuma ka to convince Ghanaians but MPP ya trobas NDC ya trobas yo mo tuma ka bibi oba na dollar da se o de abasi fu ne da se abasi we watete ne yama so case ka bibia watete so what's your talk cement ne da se o de abasi de na mo betumi aka asi free
this tragedy away. Colleagues, the truth about this government is that they have not introduced any superior economic ideas to governance.
Okay.
All that they've been doing is rebranding, renaming all things that have been done, and sometimes even hiding the details until we, in the minority, call it out for the Ghanaian.
What can we what to me tina simbi we Jimmy. Was the NDC for bomb fire my omo ya rebranding. Nti dini esi no ma senti no me bisa wo Ghana ha enye NDC for na di Goldbod ba Ghana ya obi antumi fa gold nko. It's a good for oil no say rebrand and now rename no ma ya are they the same? Are they fucking the same? Because NDC abana abi ehun say obi ntumi fa gold free Ghana they say Ghana ban meboa. Why Goldbod let say gold cocoa board meboa. So ntumi fa cocoa free Ghana they say Ghana ban. No man it's a rebranding and now renaming na kebe said mo de na tie na no Jimmy oba Dubai now the good abasa all the beje oil sana Sammy Gyamfi'S wonya ne sa ana okan akoka say wo de mesa ma na to aso go Jimmy mo mema na ko e ko kan say Yamani sika Sammy Gyamfi'S no ne say aban ka so betwe sika ma na aban twa sika Sammy Gyamfi'S kokototo no go e ko di good na no wia no papa Bank of Ghana wo no abaji CDs no de kotua wo muka no aji good no de kono akoton nti kono ko tungood na no de dollar betuaka na Bank of Ghana so nya dollars o di cedi ne ba for free no ben so e den antina dollar wa system no enu tina me dollar no so atena na ne ewom nie e ba Sammy Gyamfi'S start e adwuma no se na o mo complain se bo na oto na nye wonso o mo complain bi Sammy Gyamfi'S ne bo ni eno na ayifo na work se o manya loss no it senka Sammy Gyamfi'S bo na o de ba ya na nka da ba na nka enso loss no kan e Ghana system mu nyesa akoto ogu ko bo na Sammy Gyamfi'S uze na mo ye complain say ana gold na Sammy Gyamfi'S si o mo e de ma ayi katachiem na be kan bi say world board price kwan nye no ana mo de mo ana Sammy Gyamfi'S gu to gu mu no still no so benya profit me fa na say mato ade we 10 cedis makoto on 15 cedis e ko am for complaining ana say me to flo more 10 cedis ene sa ade a me pejam bu no free 10 cedis na me de mo ba 12 na ma ton me 15 na me ton abontina it's a 2 no eye bonus na ayi surplus na so nkomunya na so na ate ye so mabo kawo o mo start ye na surplus na no munya na o mo nka na profit me bo Sammy Gyamfi'S boys mo ti e no so na ate o nye se bi o mabo ka MPP fo mo ya wudi fo aswe kuntumpu fo na braba fo we o mani mo di gina ho akronfo ma ko
to see. Now today they are relying on this rebranding, but rebranding without the requisite competence and the requisite attention to the structural issues will be disastrous in the end.
Okay.
And so we ask, so when the IMF is no longer here by the middle of 2026 and they have finished rebranding the ideas that they inherited, which new ideas will they be introducing?
Eba, opeso chere say more ideas no mo de buy no and NDC for afa no mo de ye it be bisa wo MPP for adwen ne NDC for adwen de na ye waka ya wo mu bika waka so mo di gold for oil buy it meet ye dollars it meet te ye ne amaso ebi we mu di gold for a gold board aba atete ye ne amaso nti wa manyansa kakra mra wutim waka so be digimi we echi adinachi.
Which old ideas will they now be left with to copy? And who will be shepherding them? The previous administration in January 2025 handed over to them an economy that was far larger, far stronger, far less burdened by debt servicing than what they handed to us in January 2027.
Was the Entrokra Wuchano? Oka 2077. Wucham Kuntumpa. I don't know how much di can cry treaty. Omo hand you over mam 2017. Once oka 2027. What in common with was say Omo hand over a large economy, a very beautiful economy. Good. The economy now hand over more. Another say 15. I know they have 11. One I be added. Common sense. And na cement. Obi abisi don be use cement. Near ton 120. And for no the other 75. One I added. Don't. Foreign reserves now them $8 billion or the co 13, which na IMF said see be do 13 or krana 2028 into ombe boy me to me draw or the less than a year draw dia na what IMF graduate say 3 years ni bituma ku draw but I say no kombe sa aboyan a kire ne yenye but mo kire ne yenye draw unyansa ne de na okasa ya be kan say Ghana funti no isa Ghana ni bi ansoma wo be pese okasa asem na ansa na mama na kana kan say jimsem ni wi.
Their singular instinct has been to capitalize on the architecture that was innovated by the NDP. Gold for reserves, gold for oil, gold for forex are examples. And now, even that one, they are running into massive losses that you, the taxpayer, will have to pay at the end. What have they contributed? Nothing. Just rebranding.
What?
They simply took the PMMC and the work that MIF was doing and decided to restructure it under the Goldbod. To quickly pass a bill to grant it sweeping powers over all small-scale gold, plus 20% of all other produced gold by large-scale miners. Sadly, without the technical competence required to operate this complex structure that they wanted to do, we are saddled with $214 million debt, now moving towards 300. And it doesn't matter whether they tell you it's no Goldbod loss, it's Bank of Ghana loss, or it's Bank of Ghana loss, it's not Goldbod. At the end of the day, the Ghanaian taxpayer is the one who has to pay. And so as a minority, on behalf of the people of Ghana, we are demanding the following.
For Jimmy Frog of the people of Ghana, Kasifo. Why people of Ghana? For Jimmy Kurakona. Jimmy kura firi okora afi me ansa na meto ame kasa so me mo Sammy Gyamfi'S na ti explanation Sammy Gyamfi'S ma afi na mabe kill the cat yo me nyu mu kura mfiri mfom Jimmy mfiri ngo akuti Sammy Gyamfi'S kiri hey offer si are offer uji udin that was the first time me offer Sammy Gyamfi'S tamase de tinisi ye no obey jama bi ma say we say guy we serious bakai we serious over abi you to say what trend baby so am obi bi o kai me feeling the tama
some preliminary issues that we need to clarify. The impression by some, not your panelists per se, but by some, as though the Goldbod has made losses.
Fresh scratch.
Shying away from acknowledging that it has made losses. Alfred, the Goldbod is not a typical commercial venture established for the main purpose of making profit.
The
Goldbod is a strategic corporation with two objects: foreign exchange generation for the country, and supporting gold reserve accumulation by the Bank of Ghana.
Thank you. And that's
why, if you look at the Goldbod Act, nowhere in the Act is the word profit used. Rather, the word surplus is used.
Thank you.
We are mandate-driven and not necessarily profit-driven. And so, if we even make losses in the discharge of our mandate, we will be very happy to consider and to show how that loss came about.
Yes, sir.
And the benefits of that loss is in. And so nobody is shying away from losses. Facts are sacrosanct. The Goldbod is barely 8 months old. Per Section 76 of the Goldbod Act, it took over the assets, liabilities, contracts of the defunct Precious Minerals Marketing Company. So for the first year that the Goldbod has been in operation, our financials are available. We have not made losses.
Thank you.
We have rather made surpluses.
Thank you.
And we have published our financials as required by law, our quarterly financials on our website. And anybody can go and check. So the IMF has not said the Goldbod has made losses.
Oh,
and it is important that we put that matter to rest. The Goldbod has not made losses. And if the Goldbod makes a loss, the Goldbod will not shy away from that.
That's it.
The reason why the lawmaker in drafting the Goldbod Act did not use the word profit and loss is because that is not the main object.
Yeah.
You understand? And so why would we even shy away from that if we've made losses? We have made stock losses.
Thank you.
And latest by February or March next year, when
January, February, no can auditors be audit your majumway, and also would yet come website at the home. Much a cabianim or mamma some make it profit to Bumbina surplus. It's or too good nuclear free Ghana for Ghana for complaining about the price or him and form. You call no cotton or the core no cobonabo or the core back of Bonabubinian for swaba. I dear Sammy Gyamfi'S and you come. Yame onkoji scam fly me from koji busia bien free Bank of Ghana o. Okunya good ni. Okunya good no must be a good no. 200,000 Ghana cedis. Onu ni scan. But on Bank of Ghana na ejuma. Or Bank of Ghana Bank of Ghana na dollar. No abaji scan free Bank of Ghana ko to good. Bank of Ghana must good. Not good no ko. No akucha. Okucha wi a not dollar instead of cedis no je no abre mo dollar. Tina dollar bas system no. Common sense. Na nene woman say, the massa lost no come can buy and say, or too good now. Me fan say, or too good no, yeah, 200,000 Ghana cedis. And so cotton or maybe we good be baby 50,000 Ghana cedis. So you keep a Ghana yes you good because you're quite young for so. What I say, a meeting on one point man can say, sir, also buy barely 8 months, a new 8 months simple. Almost mean 7 tons of good am Ghana. Our MPP Fuja on 31 tons. You see, I was in 38 tons on one ponkumanum. Into 28 months, no. Now, sir, 8 tons, no, 7 tons, the ton is Kaketwa. Sir, 7 tons now, what primary, the ton is Kaketwa. A Sikak, don't. It's memo being confused. Omoya cromfo a before, Ombasum be Viano Kuno say. It's near NDCD Ghana Econ, and on Bessom Simbium, said on be sim 2016. No must be Jerigano, and then upon Kumajin on say, Omuja large economy DNJ. Now we are driving in our top petrol saying, while driving out to petrol saying, a large, you know, or buy Mahama by Otone saying, don't young can of light or Mocase, on Becca say, and this for to Mukana Muslim Betum, not lighting to me now. What again, when was the last time I was here to Mukania? I made you may be a cosso, and no quite investors, Baba, who sounds a deep invested to be would buy for lighting you. I try 11 years, next month, I 12 years. Like to know that it is a me scam investor. Say me scam me year investment. I may invest in here because we be at the light in here. Until the Juma be a one a question. I didn't know yes I MPP. I didn't do ni Ghana no dokakra. Ah, mu mi ma no kra kan no kre. Hwe ayi Goldbod kru 2-4 kra bomb abacho. Do ma hene so obi ka kire wo say sa ban wi ko na chi a do ma hene we ho judge or so pa onya promotion MPP time and this time was a promotion one time some so be kan nkontompo no mutwa say on be kan dum so to Mahama so on be 8 years they couldn't solve it and Mahama under less than 1 year fene why like to Ghana na MPP for mu hwenya say be say Ghana for na mo kan asem che mo te Ghana and o mo tena Ghana last year and o mo te Ghana this year. And no mood ways. Once all back and recra, if you bring a moody cross, you bring an anye. And the moon to mean toshi can crack. If you nipa cool good room, please go a woman. A program say bad Ghana, to mean kind. And so, Omudi no be church, let's say, skinny. It sounds some more can never be so many contumpo for, not so many no crack. Would your mamma can send me jamo? TikTok be na bano. A bear expose moon. And any panoni Facebook, any YouTube baby or TikTok. Omuni ekoso wiase omuni Mahama eye obi ehu skana ba na wo ayimo time wo sell ope 1000 dram per this what the 45 million kwasiafo mo time ope 1000 drams per this what the 4,500 and ope 1000 drams 32 million 33 million me boy it's a me beto de 1000 dram and last year somebody 45 million eba now you see somebody 32 million eba any benefit tell me here it's not a benefit. And so now woman had the gas ebe kase tia ban we you now so uti eh anyway Jimmy enu nti no mo say MPP de se wo de akokɔ kura bi gino na hye na MPP atare on beto ayampa asemi akoto kan bi former agric minister ano ye kwara so MP oka bi kai pa atane e beto aba sa time MPP former atane club ti se club ti ye hye mi na mo de ye mo ye club ti say that was was it the year na atamis win year na wo de bibisa that no ye MP kwara so if you jam that na me che wa dum super blocks omo nyina MPP 4 nti wunya MPP ni kura wo ba ye MPP ni by force and ye call Satam women training center kwara so women training center omo bi de ho na mo office wo ye kwa akoto ne ye then MP of kwara so and ye call no say matwufo ya chewi a ye body so my t-shirt ni bi ne fanya campaign ka kire say Satam na mo ton t-shirt 12 cedis aye 120,000 em say 208 sa election mo lusu ye em say 208 say em Satam na akoto ya yi a remind mani jina waka kire say ha de campaign hu hia wo se be se campaign de yenku voter region ho na MPP fo hia vote na ha de wo de akokɔ kura be jina wa o meto aba monti ye ni 12 cedi ye be to t-shirt there you should forget it's not an insult. That's how MPP for fam mon pani for sa na ma fam because wo te Ghana pa wo hu last year na Ghana tie no hu na obekeka nkwa asem se ekira na wodi ekira na so ya aboa why say TV say dem ma poso ayi say dem ma poso yi di sa na waye sa na waye me pa na me play ma sa na waye mo no mbeka na mudi ekiri support nkoko nyansa ni muti majority of MPP people cannot read and write factual iti omo soro kakra na fam samo ye mmoa iti omo fam nya we na NDC majority can read and write oko northern sector almost 60% can read and write oko voter almost 80% can read and write almost na majority omo oba central regional almost 80-90% it me read kinkan we here ni kwati lotto case mutumi kinkan almost majority na wo NDC no enti no empanifo no mo NDC na hu say they cannot take them for granted because they know how to read and write and empanifo no mo MPP mu so say ya se ofo no ni ma chiro ya kinkan because majority of them are Ashantis omo na ma Ashanti for twa mu free MPP agu Ashanti for so dodo se ni tuma chiro kinkan kuma simple na da se na ni nkurase bonkutu enti omo kape obefa akọ na ntrom enye no megina ho ebe ka kira Ashanti for se ya commission Kumasi airport as international airport e free otumfo mo abegina ho mo otumfo tutu ni tuma na hemfo bae enso na still a domestic omo free akunya so ya ko 1 year it's still domestic obi be ya de se NDC for na be e ma na international ya ko Ghana ni tour e bitu meto free Kumasi aba Dubai san kwasi asem wenyi no mbedi no da so wa no kasa boanka in lamport ko for na yo obetena otumfo so obewie obetena otumfo palace kufa be kan se ono otumfo be fa plane akọ hitru meboa otumi ye obe commission but it was a lie and no mugusu twantro MPP agu CCPP me kan kira mo yuti omo ba obi enu obeto aba ma mo omo nsem ya kontumpofo mo ya dadafo because omo tikuru no mu ana wo beka bibia hye omutirim they were in Ghana last year they were in Ghana in your governance ana omo NDC dia kakra abai etinyo na abeka bibia kire omo they've seen it, they felt it, it's visible for them to see to jimi no ponkroma munya nkrasi sam na MPP for it's atwem tadada se obeyesa this kind of life is over. Yeah, so mo jimi na mo abodama mo kasa ansa nti mo nkrasi for it's better se mo beka mo no otum yes akora mo break Ghana for kuru mo it's better se mo beka mo no otum ni akase mu nim nyansa na mo koso akasa because nipa na mo kwoto aba ma na china 31st na nipa no aba out abeka se mo aba na mbebu na ye bola and he was the vice president into opamo chomo fa kunya na mano na wrongs bi omo ye bi omo correct. Is that not so? So why are you saying this? So which is which? See Jimmy don't munsu nyansa wate amuntumi mfa Ghana for see Jimmy da etwam ye di omo atama musi di atam we ezi no say ye di omo atam because omo di atam so omo di adwen di agoro ponkroma uni ne wo se sama share video ahun tuturu bia me bon na pa